Shalom, Barakatha, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakwa HaKadosh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the sincere Akim across the four corners of the globe, pushing this truth with no due diligence and sincerity. 2 Corinthians, the second chapter, verse 11 reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." I will show you an example of Satan's devices. As you can see here, it reads the M to the P implants that let you pay with your hand. The implants that let you pay with your hands. The Revelations 13 to the 16th chapter that our apostles and elders continuously brought out, man. I'll read the scripture again. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Everything that's going on across the face of the planet Earth right now, the whole economic crisis, the crash, the worldwide crash is happening across the face of the planet Earth, man. The increase in fuel cost of living in general, food, housing, utilities, man, is all a part of the global reset agenda, the NWO, man, part of Esau Edom's agenda to debase the fiat currencies of the world and introduce digital currency across the globe, which is then going to be tied into the Revelations 13 to 16, man. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. What are some of his devices? The implants that let you pay with your hand, man. Patrick Pullman causes a stir whenever he pays for something in a shop or a restaurant. Yep. This is because the 37-year-old doesn't need to use a bank card or his mobile phone to pay, so he doesn't use a contactless reader via his bank card. Well, he uses a contactless reader, but not via his bank card, and he doesn't use NFT technology, which is built into your phone for Apple Pay or Samsung Pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless reader, and the payment goes through. The reactions I get from cashiers are priceless, Mr. Pullman, a security guard from the Netherlands said. Says Mr. Pullman, a security guard from the Netherlands. He is able to pay using his hand because back in 2019 he had a contactless payment, injected under his skin. The procedure hurt as much as when someone pinches your skin, says Mr. Pullman. Revelations 13 to 16 was first put in a human back in 1998, but it is only during the past decade that the technology has been available commercially. And it goes on, man. As you can see here, an X-ray showing a wallet more, which are inserted into a person's hand after a local anesthetic. For many of us, the idea of having a Revelations 13 to 16 implanted in our body is an appalling one. But a 2021 survey of more than 4,000 people across the UK and the European Union found that 51% would consider it, man. Near enough that 66% mark, man. The 2/3. And I know obviously, you're gonna have heathens up in that, of course, but it's just spiritual, man. However, without giving a percentage figure, the report added that invasiveness and security issues remain a major concern for respondents. Mr. Pullman said he doesn't have any of these worries, and it goes on and on and on. Revelations 13 to 16 are used in pets to identify them when they are lost, he says, but it's not possible to locate them using Revelations 13 to 16. The missing pets need to be found physically. Then the entire body gets scanned until the Revelations 13:16 can be found and read. Yet the issue, what did you say? Yet the issue with such, what causes concern is whether in the future they become even more advanced and packed full of a person's private data, and in turn whether this information is secure and if a person could indeed be tracked. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. But essentially, man, the Revelations 13 to 16 right here, the implant that lets you pay with your hand, is a major factor of Esau Edom's New World Order economy, man. And that's exactly what's going to come to play in these times that we're living in right now, man. This is Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse, which reads, "And he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a you know what in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 threescore and six, the six insignia, man. Yeah, that's what this goes into, man. The digital currency, and ultimately speaking, a lot of these Jake that are fleeing down into Esau's hands, fleeing down to Egypt for help, are going to be utterly disgraced, man. Isaiah 31 and 1 reads, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek they the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai." Because you see, back in the ancient world, during these times, ancient Egypt was a major stronghold, man. And in the same way, people, look to America now, they look to ancient Egypt as, a kingdom that was never gonna fall, was always going to be perpetually established. And what did the Lord do? He, hey, man, he crumbled he ultimately crumbled Egypt even further than he did during the days of Moses, man. Well, of course, Egypt was brought down during the time of Moses and made an example out of, but you still had a lot of Jews that dwelt in Egypt. That's why even during the time of Yahweh Shai, even, his father and mother were instructed to take him up into Egypt because you still had a lot of Jews that were actually dwelling in Egypt, man. But ultimately, Egypt, man, to this day, it's not spoken about. It was taken over ultimately in the end at the end of be all after the Greeks were in there by the Arabs, man. You go into Egypt now, and you're just gonna meet a bunch of Arabic sheikhs, but the original Egyptians, man, are down in the like regions of the Sudan and etc. And Apostle Tahar and the other apostles have gone into this many a times. The original Egyptians are dark, tall Africans, man. That's where you get a lot of those heathen nations that we were battling against, man, like the Philistines, etc. But what you gotta understand is ultimately that kingdom was brought to naught, and the same way that the ancient Egyptians were brought to naught, the modern day America is also going to suffer that same fate also, man. And the Lord's going to see to it, you see, because Jake are in this mentality of get the bag by any means necessary, stack up your bread. But what you don't understand is that literally, man, these elites that rule over the society, the wicked that rule over the earth, pursuant to Job 9 and 24, they're going to change the very definition of money, man, to where those shoebox notes you got are not going to mean anything. The scripture tells us in Haggai, the first chapter, round about the fourth to the sixth verse, roughly, that we sow much by bringing little, man, and he that earneth wages is like he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes, because your money is always depreciating in value. You're losing things. You're worrying about paying bills before you even got paid in the society, and at the end of the day, man, we're not going to be sustained here, man. The only place that we're going to have longevity and real wealth is in the kingdom of heaven, man. Because here, this devil can literally just manipulate money, man. Change what is called currency. And what they're bringing is a digital form of money, man. That's why these CBDCs are being pushed so heavy. Online payments are being pushed and cash is being eradicated, man. You saw the article that I put out, man. That Revelations to the 13 to the 16 is coming, and the infrastructure really is being laid to get these people ready for it, man. In gradualism.
I remember talking to an Australian diplomat at one point about this break between the US and China, and said, both sides are going to say, whose team are you on? And he said, our job is to make sure the question never arises. But the question has arisen. And so I think we have to go deeper. And it's not about the US versus China. It's about what underpins a world order is always the financial system.
So this individual you see right here is a diplomat by the name of Pippa Malmgren, yeah, and I forget where she's from. You can look her up online. She's either British or American. I forget, Salakia, I forget exactly where she's from. I had her details pulled up a little earlier, but essentially, man, she goes into the importance of a financial system. What did my Amsco Bauer say, man? Give me control of a nation's finances, and I care not who makes the laws, man. And that's true to this day, because whether it be Boris Johnson or Keir Starmer or Sleepy Joe Biden or his VP or their opposing figure, they still got to answer to the Rothschild family, man, the Rockefellers as their equivalent in the Americas, man, because those people, those families, those elite small hat Amalek families are the ones that fund the government, fund national programs, fund their military, man, and that's why they gotta stay in check regardless of who gets in power, you know. And so what she said right there was on point, man. Let's put it back.
China. It's about what underpins a world order is always the financial system. I was very privileged. My father was an advisor to Nixon when they came off the gold standard in '71, and so I was brought up with a kind of inside view of how very important the financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money. But also, this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese were the first. The US is on the brink, I think, of moving in the same direction. The Europeans have committed to that as well.
Yep, and that's happening right now, man. To this very day, man. Right now. See, in Britain, Bitcoin is best thought of as a digital version of a banknote, which is a token that carries a certain value in pounds sterling. Digital currency, man. Yeah, digital currency that can be programmed, man. The Bank of, and you got here, they're talking about the House of Lords are trying to push back on it, but the Bank of England is determined to launch it. It's coming, man. It's coming. And even in Jamaica, a nation as backwards as that, man, you got this thing, Jamdex. Jamdex is the national digital currency of Jamaica is launching soon, and the first 100,000 users are set to gain an additional $16, roughly whatever that currency is, 1,200. The incentive strategy has been devised by the Jamaican government to get more people to become early adopters of the Jamdex virtual money. Yeah, even Jamaica has a virtual currency and they've called it Jamdex, man. Britain has an equivalent. China, of course, has an equivalent. America has an equivalent, man. Their digital dollar, the euro zone has their own, the digital euro, and all this is gonna lean into is the that Revelations 13 to 16 that we read about, man. And then you're gonna see people with that Revelations 13 to 16 everywhere, man, using it in a universal system. You see, the scriptures don't lie, man. When John the Revelator saw what he saw in Revelations the 13th chapter, it was a fulfillment of prophecy. But then guess what? Anyone that takes that Revelations 13 to 16, you're going to have to face the judgment of the Lord, man. And that's why we tell it is written in the scriptures to strive for the truth until death, man. Even if you're out here at the point of death, man, you gotta fight the good fight, man, because you know what the judgment is for anyone that takes that as a short-lived moment of glory, if you can even call it that. Revelation 14 and 8, it says, and the third, so like verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive a mark in his right hand or in his forehead, Slakia, in his forehead or in his hand, the same that was received of that, Revelations 13 to 16, shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and it's like in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. because that digital all, is an equivalent to what an ancient servant would have had to get in his master's house if he wanted to remain there with his substance, or said that he loved his master, if he wanted to keep his wife and children that were born to him in captivity, or if he, wanted to remain in the servant in his master's house, he'd have to get the all implanted in his ear as a sign of perpetual servitude to his house, man. And guess what? By you allowing Esau Edom to Revelations 13 to 16, you're equivalently, you're pretty much essentially giving Esau Edom that same sort of jurisdiction over you. And that's why the Lord is going to allow you to burn, man, if you take that. That is the end all be all, man. That is the ultimate no, man. Because that is such a significant prophecy, and the ending of that is death. But again, only the elect are going to be able to hold tight and have faith. That's why the Lord is building us firm, because we're going to go through some real tough times, man. The times of Jacob's trouble is upon us, man, and the doors the doors are opening. Amos, the scripture tells us in Amos that the day of the Lord is as darkness, not light, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or lean his hand on a wall and a serpent bit him. It's gonna be real turbulent times, man. Lack of funds, turbulent times, you know, natural disasters, so called beasts of the earth out there. But the Lord is gonna protect his man. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is gonna protect his man, man. But that Karagman is out here, man. That Karagman is really out here, and as we get closer to the end, things are gonna get more demonic, more digitalized, more intrusive, and at the end of the day, man, all we can do is maintain and maintaining our faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because the Lord will deliver his elects, man. Psalms the 91st chapter. But the Lord delivered us and poured manna out from heaven, man. In the time of Moses, in the time of Yahweh Shai, he allowed Yahweh Shai to multiply the fish and the loaves, to feed thousands, man. The Lord is going to work some miracles in our day that would not be believed unless we laid eyes on it. And it's all about having faith, man. That's why we're out here pushing these scriptures day in and day out, so that when that Revelations 13 to 16 comes, no matter what Esau comes with, we know that our salvation is assured by a power higher than this devil. I hope this lesson has been edifying, and until the next time I say Shalom. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukwa, Akadash, Barakatham, Shalom.